Bless our commissioners here, Lord. Take care of them, lead them and guide them, Lord. Bless our audience here. Look over them, God. Take care of the sick and the shedding at their homes, Lord, the families, Lord. Bless them. Oh, God, the one that have high blood pressure, diabetes, God, heart problems. Oh, God, bless them in the name of Jesus. That cancer, heal in the name of Jesus, God. For that we tell you, thank you. God, we give you glory in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And we're going to move on into our agenda. Is there any updates or changes to the agenda,
No,
Ms.
sir.
Sarah? I'll take a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The motion carries. And as everyone had a chance to look at the consent agenda items, and if there's nothing to be changed, I would take a motion to approve as presented.
Make a
to
motion.
approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're going to move right into our elected officials part, and it's the 22-23 audit update. Ms. Harvey is not here, so we'll move into Mr. Mobley. If you have
Yes,
some type
sir.
of update for us, I know that I've kind of tasked you with it. So
Kind
give
of
us
tasked
what
me
you
with
got.
it. Yes, sir.
I know we're friends, but I'm hated to task you with something like that.
No problem. So I spoke with Ben Clark. I've been in constant contact with Ben Clark. Ben Clark is the auditor with James Moore, who is doing the county audit at this time. And we spoke Friday for a good amount of time on Friday and just got some details, kind of where we're at, the whole 9 yards. And also spoke with him again on Sunday. Him and I had some conversation back and forth, and I prepared a email that I shared with other commissioners here, and I think we're going to probably try to share with JLAC.
Yes.
If just kind of giving us a more in-depth update on where the current position is at this time. And I would like to read that if y'all will give me just a moment, just to give an update. And then also I talked to him today. So as of Sunday, this is my email with myself and Ben Clark. Good afternoon. I just wanted to give an update per the phone conversation I had on Friday, 3/14/25 with Ben Clark, an auditor for James Moore that is working on our county audit. Ben informed me that James Moore is still working diligently with CKH, the CPA firm tasked with fixing the county and clerk's financial systems. During the week of 3/3, CKH worked on completing bank reconciliation adjustments that had to be made in order to reconcile a few accounts. I didn't go into great detail on what accounts nor what adjustments needed to be made. Since then, CKH has begun work on the trial balance, which has numerous issues such as grants receivable balance of zero, entries from the fiscal year 2022 audit not entered in, therefore not carrying forward to the 2023 financials. Various discrepancies in grant revenue and other accounts needing adjustments in order to match up to the supporting documentation that was submitted. CKH should be close within a week or so to having the trial balance in order for James Moore to begin identifying the major programs for the single audit. The single audit, just to clarify, will not be a quick task either, as samples will have to be pulled from each department that falls under the single audit threshold. On Friday, 3/14/25, James Moore informed me through their weekly update, the same one that was sent
Yes.
to numerous individuals within the county. They informed me through their weekly update the following. There were a few new requests that have been made today with regard to the clerk's office and the sheriff's office, so we'd like to give them a day to look over these and respond. Then we will be back in touch if we need further assistance. Excuse me. I will be following up on Monday, 3/17/25 with each party to ensure a quick turnaround on these requests back to James Moore. I'm going to go ahead and pause for just a second. I actually followed up this morning with both Ms. Stacy Harvey and Cheryl Ruiz at the county and the clerk, and they let me know that on Friday they had submitted all of their documentation and the request back that was needed from James Moore, so they got it out that night. I also spoke with Jeffrey Cox in regards to the sheriff's office. He had, I think, 15 items. Some of them were duplicated, but he got everything back by this morning. So it was sent back first thing this morning. I talked to Ben Clark again today, and he said that they were also working through the sheriff's office actual single audit and processing each task. So they're in the middle of the samples and confirming everything back to the supporting documentation. So they're real close on the sheriff's office side. On the county and clerk side, we still got some things to work through. So I'm going to continue on my last paragraph here. Through years of experience dealing with audits and their complexities, it is my suggestion to the Board of County Commissioners that we begin preparation for failure to meet the 3/31 deadline as set by the Joint Legislative Auditing Committee, JLAC. There is still a lengthy amount of work to be done before the audit can be submitted, and we're simply running out of time as March 31st is only 15 days away from the timestamp of this email. So I don't want to sugarcoat it and say, like, hey, there's a chance. I mean, I'm hoping everybody's praying and crossing their fingers that we do submit this before the March 31st deadline. However, I want to be realistic and say, hey, there's a high probability that we're not going to hit this 3/31 deadline. So I want to go ahead and, I didn't want to come in, because this is our last meeting in March. I didn't want to come in here April 1st and say, oh man, we missed it, and everybody be expecting that, hey, everything's good, we'll have it by 3/31. There's still a high chance, because there's still a lot of audit that needs to be done with CKH and James Moore. Mostly it's going to be on the James Moore side, but they had to get everything right in order to get it audible. So that's the position that we're in right now. And I mean, today's 3/18. We're 13 days away now, and there's a high chance that we're not going to hit this deadline, and the county just needs to be prepared on all ends to not meet this deadline and go through with JLAC. So it was my recommendation to Sarah and the board that, hey, we go ahead and let JLAC know. I believe we've talked to Chris Doolin.
Yes.
You've talked to Chris,
times.
And Chris is our lobbyist in Tallahassee, right? So he recommends that, hey, as most transparent as you can be with JLAC, probably the better. We don't want to go to 3/31 and say, oh man, we missed it. Yeah. Let's go ahead and let them know, hey, there's a good chance we're not going to hit it. We're doing everything we can right now, but there's still a good chance that 3/31 is going to come and go, and we're still not going to be done with this audit. So that's kind of the update in a nutshell. I know it's not the greatest news, but also we want to be transparent and true. Hey, we're praying hard, but right now it's not looking good.
Do we need any action to communicate our position with JLAC, or is that just
so it was the recommendation of Chris Doolin.
When he and I talked about, I'm sorry to interrupt, he just suggested, I explained the situation and what Commissioner Mobley's email was. He just suggested that we forward that email on to JLAC, obviously with the understanding that we're continuing to work on it and it's a priority. But that, what is our next steps? Let's go ahead and notify you now that we're not going to meet that deadline and begin to working with them on what the next steps look like. Now, just in full transparency, we have been in communication with JLAC multiple times a week since this started. I have been communicating with them on a regular basis through every step of what is going on the last couple of weeks. So they're well aware of the processes that we've been going on with, that the auditors have been undertaking for the last few weeks. But so Chris's direction is just that, and let's present it to the board first in case there's no other further comments for it. But otherwise, just forward Commissioner Motley's email on to JLAC.
I would like to also include an email on all. I know we've been getting updates every week. I'd like to have a summary. Are those emails going to JLAC also?
Yes, sir, they are.
So they already have that?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to present what Mr. Mobley's done, but I also want a summary of all those emails of what has actually occurred in this process. And I think we should do that now, and we should do that again at the end of the month.
Right.
Sure.
And not wait till the 31st. Maybe the Thursday before the 31st. I think the 31st is on a Monday.
The 31st is a Monday, and that, from my understanding, I thought the 31st was the date that JLAC meets too, but I don't believe it is. They don't have it on schedule
scheduled a meeting, because I've been checking on it.
Yeah.
they might be doing they might schedule the meeting after the 31st.
Right.
Yes.
The 31st is a deadline, but that's not when they're having a meeting.
Right. That's
I
right.
found that out, and I'm on whatever that meeting is going to be. I will.
Right.
Me and you probably will both be in that meeting.
Sure. Yeah.
And but transparency to JLAC is going to be the key.
Yes, sir.
To let him know, and then I would also like some goal-oriented deadlines on what James Moore's thinking, what our clerk is thinking, what our sheriff's thinking, when they're going to have all their information together
Right.
and finalized, and to James Moore's, so we can get an audit.
Sure.
Okay.
Same
the
thing with the other CPA.
CKH. On the sheriff's office side, I know they received everything back today, and Ben informed me that was part of the audit testing, and so getting information. I think there was like 10 employees, from what Jeffrey told me, that they were, they pulled in a sample, so they were testing those 10 employees and making sure their pay matched and
Right.
the whole 9 yards. So I know that they're currently working through that process. On the county and the clerk side, CKH and James Moore has been more in contact, and I'm sure with Cheryl and Stacy, on getting everything together.
Yeah.
So I would expect the sheriff's office to be done pretty soon.
Well, all that the contact that Cheryl and Stacy's getting, the county office needs to get the same contact.
Right.
We need to make that clear.
Yes.
That whatever is going through to them needs to come to this county,
Sure.
so we can stay on top of it.
Okay.
And Miss Sarah, I think you should handle that
Yes, sir.
with Mr. Moore or whoever's over the audit itself. Any stuff that's going to the sheriff or anything that's going to Stacy at the clerk's office needs to come to this county, being copied in an email or however they're doing it, so we know what's going on,
Yes, sir.
not just word of mouth. Sometimes you don't get the correct word of mouth, but they put it on paper. Usually they try to make it right.
That's right.
I hate to say it that way, but that's just the way it is. You're gonna have to fill out a speaker's card. But you can come on.
Yes, sir. Just a thought and recommendation. I think this is good, the communications that you put together. I don't know if you can or whatnot, but just a recommendation, maybe, start talking about what are the processes and procedures that we're going to place for the futures, that we don't let this happen again.
Yes, sir.
I think that would communicate those types of messages JLOC might.
That definitely will be happening.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. If you would fill out a speaker card and get it to Miss Sarah, please.
That concludes everything I have on my audit update.
Okay, any other questions or comments from me and the board?
I make a lot of comments, but none helpful.
Yeah, well, I can make some too, but I'm gonna keep it myself. I am surprised that we're getting an update and the clerk of the court's not here to represent the dire need that we're in. As a chairman, I'm just gonna voice my displeasure with her not being here. We're in, everybody needs to be on board. Okay, any other comment? We move on. All right, we're gonna move into the next section, which is the public comment section. I don't have any speakers cards. If anyone in the public wants to speak, if you fill out a speaker card, get it to Miss Sarah. We will let you speak at the appropriate time. And then we're going to move in. I don't have anything now, but we'll move into our new business. And item number 1 is approval of grant application E911. Mr. Blanchard, look like you on deck for a while.
Good afternoon, Commission, and I will try and make it as quick as possible since I'm stopping everybody from ending this meeting. The first one, these are recurring grants with the E911. There's no match associated with them. The first one is for some hardware that we're looking to purchase. This particular document is going to be for some, they're called Mevo phones, and what they are, they're wireless phones which allow us to receive 911 calls. should our regular phone system fail. We currently have some in our dispatch. At all of our dispatch stations, should the main phone lines go down, it will transfer over. We can use this particular phone. These phones will be added to our mobile command center. So it'll be a backup, it's called PSAP, so a backup 911 center. That way we can travel anywhere in the county and set up our 911 system should our building get hit by a tornado or a meteorite comes down or something like that. You should have redundancy. So this Mevo Anywhere set will be in our mobile command center, so we can go anywhere. The other good thing about it will also be deployable. So, and we've gone and assisted other counties during hurricanes and other events. This will allow us, if we needed to, travel and be able to do the same thing for that county as well. So it's an asset not only for us, but other counties if should the need arise. Again, there's no match for that. The amount in this particular equipment is $7,200. There's going to be a reoccurring expense of $4,200, which is something we can apply for in other grants like we currently do. But that's just something we're forecasting and is listed in the documents for you.
And if we don't get grants, that would have to come out of somebody's budget?
Yes, sir, and it certainly would not be in the budgets.
Yeah. Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move we approve the grant application for the hardware, for E911 hardware.
Second.
A motion second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 2, approval of the grant application 911 maintenance.
All right, this is also a secondary grant where there is no match associated with it. The total amount that we're going to be applying for is $10,421.04, and it's 2 particular maintenance agreements that we have in support. One is through a vendor called AK & Associates. They've been associated with us for multiple years and have done an outstanding job. The package is called Gold Support, which gives us 24/7 remote access as well as some on-site services for our equipment. And the other one is for the current Mevo kits that we have the support and services with that, and that's in the amount of $2,288.04. Again, that's reoccurring for the 2 phones that we have, and we're just hoping that you'll let us apply for the grant. We've been successful every year in obtaining those grants.
How much was the total?
So the total amount is $10,421.04 for the 2 equipment, 2 packages.
Any other questions? It's the pleasure of the board.
I move we approve the grant application for the maintenance on the E911 Movo.
Second.
A motion second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item number 3, emergency management update.
All right, so the last time we met, we were discussing with one of our vendors, the engineer, going to be doing scopes of work for us. They were able to sit down, all of our partners, and look at the engineering report that we had done earlier. And with that in mind, they decided that they did not actually need a task order, that the engineering report was actually more detailed than the scopes of work that were needed. So what we're asking to do now is move forward with the RFPs based on that, so we can put it out to bid for the projects. And in that, they can use the engineering report for the scopes of work. And one of the things we want to add in the RFP, and I've already had a conversation with the county manager, and Chris Smith is here with the vendor that's helping us with all of this. We will put in there for the permitting process. That's one of the things we want to make sure that's in all of these RFPs and submissions, is that they're including the permitting process, because that's going to be probably the biggest hoops that have to be jumped through for each one of them.
So you want to move forward?
With the RFP. yes, sir.
RFP. It's not an action item on the...
No, sir. I mean, that's really just direction with the board that we're ready to move
It's
forward
it's the
with that. It
informational
doesn't require a
purposes. That's the
motion.
direction we're going based on the will of the board last time, talking about moving forward with the scopes of work.
So the scopes of work is covered through the engineering. The engineering is so detailed that no scope of work is necessary.
That's correct, sir.
That's correct. I would say let's move forward. I mean, I don't want to.
Absolutely.
All right.
I mean, these are the professionals that we hired, so we.
That's correct, yes.
We have to take them on the word.
And every step of the way, thank goodness, and we consider ourselves very lucky in the emergency management. I think, and as a county, we should. As FEMA has looked at all the work that we put in, they always say we're ahead of the process, and I'm thankful for that, because very rarely do you hear something like
That's
that.
a fact.
And we were very lucky with the 2 vendors we had came in, and especially with the engineering report, the details they put in there, made the heavy lifting a lot easier for us.
That's good.
One of the projects that's in that we're looking at in there as far as our mitigation, there's a program called Elevate Florida. And in order to participate for that, they've asked for a letter for the board saying that they're willing to participate and explore the possibility of utilizing that program. There's still some information that'll have to be done, and just by giving them a supporting letter saying that we can explore that program for mitigation on a residence on Miltondale does not mean we're obligated to go forward with the project. It just means that we can move forward with exploring the process for Elevate Florida. I sent the email out with some of the details to look at what we can do in there, but there's some match that may be necessary in there, and the homeowner's aware of it. And then there may be some grant funding on the backside for that. So there's a lot of things still to explore, but the application window is closing. But the letter itself does not commit the county to expend any funds in that particular thing. It's just as an exploratory process. So I'm asking, it's not something that EM would do, it would have to come from the Board of County Commissioners, but it's something I'm asking that if we could do that. And if we need to make it an action item later, we can, but
Now, we can get direction from the board tonight. Again, it doesn't require a formal motion. Excuse me. This is just to remind you. This is the private residential property that I give you guys some information on. We've talked several times about it, but most recently, I think last week, we had some pretty lengthy discussions about it. Like John said, this is really just a step that we need to take in the process to determine if this is an avenue that we can even go down or not. It doesn't commit the county or the property owners to actually moving forward with it, but we do need to know what we can do. Right now we don't
What's
know
our
that.
options?
Right. So I didn't have any commissioners voice any concerns to me about that. We just want to make sure that we talked about it formally tonight, and unless there's some opposition to it, then I'll move forward with the preparation of that letter on the board's behalf.
Absolutely.
Is this the issue with the drainage?
Yes.
yes, sir.
Yeah, I think we should move forward with the letter anyway.
Yes, sir.
We got to see where we're at.
Right.
I agree.
See all
It's
the
looking
options
for
and figure out how to fix it. Yeah.
You got,
All right. Thank you, sir. And then I'm ready for the last one.
I'm waiting on you.
Okay, so workshop, we did have a brief workshop. I called it EM 101, trying to discuss some of the processes involved with emergency management and mitigation, and then dealing with recovery with storms. We're looking to do a little more advanced with our constitutional officers and commission on what an overall process in recovery and mitigation looks like. So I'm asking for a date to be able to do that as a workshop. And then later, with the individual directors, we will have other meetings that won't necessarily need to take up everybody's time. But from the 10,000-foot view, it's very important that the commission understands why we're doing some of these things and some of the documentation necessary to move forward. So hopefully we can take advantage of all the options we have out there for mitigation and recovery in the future. And we've got a really good process starting now, but we still got some steps to take to move us forward.
When would you be ready to move forward with the workshop?
I spoke with the county commission manager about some dates, and I think it's the last one in April.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we would definitely need to go ahead and move forward with this because we got budget workshops coming up pretty
Yes, sir.
quick.
Mhm.
And I don't want these two to be running in sequence.
No, sir.
So I
So
would
we're saying the
think that
15th?
Mm-hmm.
The 15th?
I think that would be an ideal time to have. How long you think it take before a meeting?
For the meeting itself, about 2 hours.
So
So we
3
did
o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Yeah, 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock to 15th?
We'll go ahead and put it on the April 15th, 3 o'clock.
Fabulous.
Sounds good.
That's all for me.
Thank you, John.
I do want to ask, I get calls about it multiple times a week. with the Steel Bridge boat ramp. Whenever we get that one going, if we could see if we can open up the other one.
So I can promise you, we talk about it almost as much as you get phone calls.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and as soon as we can get some other expert eyes on it to say
Yeah.
there's something we can do to help either stabilize or whatever,
Okay.
that's gonna be the first thing, and you will be probably the second phone call I make.
I appreciate
I
it.
better be the first. We get a lot of phone calls
Thank you.
on that one.
Just send us an email and then ride around on your truck on the back. Boat ramp will be open.
Yeah.
I'll be on the PA with my lights going
Yeah.
right
One
now.
There
of
we
your
go.
scrolling signs out somewhere for
Much
I'll put the
appreciated.
message board at the
Yeah.
boat.
Exactly.
There you go.
There you
There you go.
Just go park in the Walmart parking lot and let everybody know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we can moving on to item number 5, declaration of surplus items. Chief Nelson.
Well, obviously, we're excited that we moved into the new station and we tried to repurpose what we could to the new station, remove things that were still in good working order. There's some things that are still left that were put in there probably from the 1990s. Some of the old furniture, it's particle board furniture and things like that. Some of the old mattresses have been there for 30 years, so we just like to be able to surplus all that stuff and some old extrication equipment that we've got that we'd like to donate to the college.
Have we ever heard anything on the building itself? What we're going,
It would go back to the Richardson family.
Richardson family? Okay.
And I don't know that they're related to David Richardson, but he's got their contact information,
They're
but
not.
he knows
Okay.
who they
I
are.
just want
Yeah,
to
they
make,
are not related.
I just want to make sure that we stay on top of that. Let
Yep.
them other get their building back.
Yes, sir. Our step was to get it cleaned out first. I
Oh,
said
yeah.
everything that's
Oh, yeah.
useful.
No,
has
we
been
leave
taken out.
everything in there, so
Yeah.
just,
Everything that's useful has been relocated or moved to a different county department. This stuff is purely just
Yeah.
junk that needs to be
we
disposed
should clean
of,
it up
yeah.
as good as we
Is there-
can, as good as
Is
possible.
there stuff that's got to go through Rich for that to happen,
No, sir.
as far as giving it back or anything?
No, sir. You guys, it's all county products now, so just the declaration now to make it surplus takes it off of our inventory, and then that allows
I
us to
meant
dispose
for
of
The
it.
property
I meant
itself.
for the building itself.
It's just a lease.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I mean-
no, sir. Yeah, no.
Okay,
there
it was
shouldn't
just
be.
canceling
No.
the lease
Right,
kind of thing.
right.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's indefinite lease. It was until, as long as we use it, we could use it once we
Yeah,
didn't.
it had a
go back
reverter
to-
clause in it.
Okay, I was making sure.
What's the pleasure of the board?
I move we declare these items surplus.
Second.
Have a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, item number 6, approval of contract.
Yes, sir. Commissioners, last budget year, you approved for us to start working on getting some firefighter NFPA compliant grants for our firefighters. As you know, the work that they do is very stressful and heart attacks are one of the number one killers of firefighters, and cancer, and a lot of, we want to make sure we're trying to do everything we can to prevent that in our department. We reached out to 4 different vendors, the local hospital here, the urgent care here in town, Care Spot, which is our normal, where we go for our basic physicals for our department, and then also what Jacksonville Sheriff's Office uses, which is the Life Scan. Jacksonville Fire used to use them, but they've created their own program to do it now. But Life Scan is they have an office all over Florida. They have several offices. They've got a contract right now in Clearwater we can piggyback off of, and they're actually giving us a rate that's better than the rate is now in Clearwater. I think it was going up a little bit next year to like $569, but it's a little bit better. It's $525, but that includes a full stress test, all the blood work, and the pulmonary function test. And we had appropriated $10,000, which we thought last year, based on the preliminary estimates, would have been enough to do all our employees. Out of the 31 employees, we would only be able to do 19 this year. But we've asked for a 2-year agreement on this, hopefully to put the rest of the money in next year's budget and finish out. So we sign it now. Probably by the end of the year, we can have everybody done. They're set up in Jacksonville, over on the south side. and we can send our people over there and get it taken care of. We'd have to set appointments and send our folks over.
So we'll use the 10,000 for this year, and then next year's budget, you expect to have how much probably?
Another 10, I think.
Another
Maybe
10?
not 10, maybe a little less. So if we get 19 in now, we've got,
Right.
I do have a few volunteers I'd like to
That's
do
a little
that.
over half.
You got
Yeah, it depends on
volunteers,
what's
you
on
might
our
have new
roster.
employees
Right.
coming
Right.
in, so
People
you
may
can
change,
10,
so-
I would leave it at
Yeah,
10.
it'd be safe to be.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. You need a recommendation?
Yes, a contract, we need to approve the contract.
Motion to approve or move forward into an agreement with LifeScan Wellness Centers.
Second.
Have a motion second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Question, Chief.
yes, sir.
Once they have the scan and problem, say something comes up, there's an issue, is there a plan in place to maybe weight loss, high blood pressure? I mean, there's all millions of things it could be. I don't want to just go get them tested and then drop the ball.
This is part of the step one of the process here. We're looking at also some fitness testing as far as some fit for duty type stuff, and that way if somebody comes back and they say, hey, you need to lose some weight or your heart blood pressure is too high, obviously they would have to follow up with their normal physician or that realm, or but then we're working on at the same time to have a more robust fitness program to make sure our folks are not only being assessed here, but also down the road are making improvements and are maintaining what they have. So a lot of them are in pretty good shape. So
Yeah.
but,
We just want to make sure they're prepared mentally and physically.
right. And with the new second story that's out for RFP right now, which is part of the training and fitness area that's going to be coming before you in a couple weeks, that will help with that part of that, maintaining fitness and stuff. So
Sounds good.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have one more thing that actually goes into the
Yeah,
pending
it's part of the
business.
pending business report, but.
Yeah, go ahead.
Trevor's okay.
This is
yeah.
a folder that Chief Blanton has set up for the Collard Fire Station. It's just a few pictures and everything,
Oh, okay.
and
Thank you.
I'll keep one.
Okay.
We just got some bullet points here with the pictures. So just you can tell it's a 30 by 40 building. So first thing we actually did was flip the doors to the end, which is on the 127 side, which gave us where we could put trucks that are longer than 30 feet. The trucks that we have are right at 30 feet, so it didn't give you any room to work around behind them, or we couldn't put any kind of larger trucks. Now we can do that. New garage doors, controllers installed. We have an ADA bathroom and storage closet there. New concrete driveway on the 127 side. A new electrical service, 200 amp, which not only will supply this building, but also the future plan for the mobile home to staff crew whenever we get to that point to put some crew members up there. So new septic system, new well and bladder tank, all there. New plumbing, the building's been repiped, water and sewer. The old living quarters was taken off, demolished. It was not code compliant, so it was removed. And that concrete pad that it sat on is now a new rear patio that's been refinished, and it's all been, the back of the structure's been painted. New signage on the building, as you can see, where to park and where not to park. New landscaping and exterior lighting. I think the only thing we really got to do is move the flagpole is over to that, in that first picture, it shows the round point. And then one of the things really a big help is we've got a new commercial pump house. I think it's one of the pictures in here. It's the third picture. That holds a 3,000 gallon water tank and 500 GPM pump that's on an auto refill. So essentially we can send a tanker truck back there and refill at one time for sure. And then it's going to start refilling from the well while that truck's going on call. So we got another 3,000 gallons of water. We have the same setup at Taylor and Baxter. So and then that 3-inch standpipe for filling fire engines. That's one thing that I think Chief Blanton was actually working on this afternoon. So it's a great improvement in that area, and obviously the last thing waiting is to get the mobile home there, and we still have the money set aside in ARPA for that. I believe we still have like 180,000 was maybe my last count. It may be a little less. Let's say 150 for that. That's there, held back for that. So I wanted to give you all that.
That's great.
Well, Chief, everything looks good, and I want to thank Mr. Blanchard. I know he put his mind, heart, body, and soul, and nerves
Yes, sir.
into this project. We want to appreciate all his hard work and dedication in this project.
Yes, sir.
The other thing I'd like to see is an open house for the community.
Yes, sir.
Maybe, maybe just a day where people can come in and walk through, see the engine, maybe a couple firefighters there.
Yes, sir.
I think it would be good for the community to see,
Okay. Yes, sir.
how we're growing.
Yes, sir. We'll do that.
I think it's a little over 186,000.
Okay.
For
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
and what we also can do is show you the plans for the future growth too. If you had some type of a board there.
Yes, sir.
Showing the design, we're gonna put a mobile home behind it with firefighters and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Just to get the citizens involved.
Yes, sir.
I think it'd be a good idea.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Put Mr. Blanchard on it. He's a go-getter, so. He'll make sure it gets done. All right. We're going to move into our next item on the agenda, which is the pending business report. Miss Sarah?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Commissioner listen at me. Chief Nelson covered Kyler Fire Station, so we're going to skip that one on my report. Moving through our list, the COA Bus Wash and COA Senior Life Enrichment Center. So we were able to have that backflow preventer worked on. We don't know that that's going to fix our problem or not. We're still doing some testing and maybe looking at some ways. I know you're shaking your hand. I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic with this.
I had a meeting out there yesterday.
Yeah.
It's not fixing.
Yeah.
It's not working.
So I think there's still some issues. We know that. We were very concerned about that once they got in there to look at it, that it was not going to solve all of our problems.
Yeah, we're
So,
about 6 gallons
yeah.
shy.
On the wash still.
Yeah.
Well,
But I have a plan.
all right. Well,
I'm glad you do. Yeah.
the part of working on the backflow was that it was at the point that it needed to be
It
fixed.
had to be done anyway. So
It
that's
needed to
not
be
a
done,
waste.
so we, trying to eliminate problems
Right, that's
working in.
That's the first thing you
So,
should have done.
Yeah.
Right.
But
So,
it didn't solve the problem.
right.
But I have some plans in the working, but until I get the approvals and all the money and what it's going to cost to have it done,
Probably what we discussed then as a next option if that didn't work.
if it doesn't
Yeah.
work, then
Okay.
I want to have the whole thing to present
Yeah.
and not just say
Yeah.
this is what we're going to do. It might not even be an option. So we've got to find out if even an option.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But right now it's not working.
Yes, sir.
They can't use the dishwasher even in the new building because of the
Yeah.
pressure.
What's the time frame we got? Can we put a time frame on that?
I'm trying to have it done within the next 30 days. That's my goal.
Yeah.
As far as figuring out what to do?
I'm sure.
I'm hoping to have it figured out and working on it by then.
Okay.
But it's going to be a process because everything when I find out what it's going to take and how much money it's going to cost, it's going to have to be a board item.
Right.
But I'm going to tell
That's
you
what
what
I'm
we're not
saying.
going to do is we're not going to have a brand new bus wash, a
Right.
brand new
Absolutely.
transportation center, and a brand new
Senior Life
COA
Enrichment Center,
senior
yeah.
enlightenment. I call it COA center. That's what I've always called it.
Yeah.
And not have water pressure.
Yeah.
So whatever we got to do as a board, we're going to have to get water pressure. I'm trying to do it the most economical way I think that will fix it.
Right.
I met with a couple guys out there, and I'll share it with you what we're going to plan on doing. But we got to go through the city and make sure we
I was
can
like,
do.
it's got to be what we've already.
We probably are
discussed what
on
our
the
next
same
options
page,
were.
but
Yeah.
we're looking.
Yeah.
I want to make
Approve
sure.
first.
Yeah. For-
Well, that's what I was asking. I mean, if we could get that kind of made sure it could happen in the next 2 weeks, we can go ahead and
I
roll
should
with that.
know this week or next week what the costs are going to be.
Okay.
and if it can even
If it's
happen.
an option,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even, if not, we're gonna have to look at another option.
Sounds good.
And from
And
our
once you loop the
perspective,
system, it's gonna solve your problem anyway, but we're too
Right.
far out to wait on that.
yeah, yeah. Well, and you know, from our perspective, what we've kind of talked about is there's got to be a valve that there's an issue with somewhere on that property. But how do you find it? How do you locate it? Do you dig up the entire property and
Well,
waste months
I don't
and try
wanna
to
go
find
into
it?
that because I
Right.
shared
Right.
I got that off my chest yesterday and I'm gonna rehash what I thought yesterday today,
Right.
so.
Right.
But
Yes, sir.
there probably is,
Mm-hmm.
but the problem is when it comes in, it's coming in out of the city,
Mm-hmm.
and once it gets to the bus wash, there's no valve.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I don't know if the valve is on the property that we have an issue with or off the property.
Well, and this issue didn't start with the construction of the bus wash, we know. So there's got to be something that's pre-existing to
It's
that that's causing this
pre-existing,
water
it's
issue.
causing
Yeah.
it, But
Right.
Yeah.
we're asking a bus wash, the new transportation center and that other, and then they put a 2-inch pipe to feed the bus wash.
Mhm.
So I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'll share with you what my
Yes, sir.
thoughts are on that.
Yeah.
And once we get prices and all that, then we'll bring it back for the board to make a
Yes, sir.
decision.
Yes, sir.
Let me know what I'm gonna do to help.
All right, moving through the list, the boat ramp, we discussed multiple times, right, as part of our emergency management update. We're going to continue to try to see how we might be able to get that one temporarily open. North Florida Professional Services is working on our design for phase 2 for us, and that was for the design of a bathroom and lighting facility there. So those are both going concurrently at the same time. NAB Sports Complex opening day is next Saturday, the 29th. We are planning for a big crowd for that. Hopefully you all can be there. I haven't gotten an actual time just yet. It's normally around 9 a.m., but I know that pictures and things like that get coordinated, so hopefully we'll have that actual time, but it's usually first thing early Saturday morning. So if you guys hopefully can be there with us for that. Again, we've got some signage that will be installed like we discussed about what will come after the season is done. So we're working on getting those installed as well, just to let the public know that while we've made a lot of improvement, the park looks really great, and we've added a lot, we're not done. So we want to make sure people understand that. So yeah. All right, and then last one was the generator project. So that generator is on order. We knew there was quite a bit of lead time on that. I don't think they gave us a delivery date, did they, when we talked about that the other day?
Coordinated with Cap.
Yeah. Yeah, so they had to get with Caterpillar on the delivery date for that, but we knew there was a little bit of a lead time to get the generator itself in. But all of that has been ordered, contracts have been signed, requisitions have been issued, so now it's just waiting on the actual generator to be installed, and then that contractor can begin that work. And I plan on following up with Mr. Doug Moore on the Sanderson Center to see if he's made any progress. We've not talked in the last couple weeks about this one, so I want to try to touch base with him this week to see if he's made any headway on his end. However, the well is installed and working. Should be good to go with the water on that end of it.
On the well, is there a pump house or is it just sitting out in the open?
There was a pump house on the old one, but I don't know that it's salvageable. It needs to be redone.
We need to look at protecting our investment.
Yes, sir.
And trying to get some type of pump house put
Yes,
over
sir.
that.
We can do that in-house for sure. The other one was
Yeah,
pretty old.
it's just a simple, just something to keep the water, keep the weather, the sun,
Yes, sir.
rain, and all that out off of that system.
Yes, sir. Certainly, we can make sure that's done.
And it wouldn't hurt to have a 110 volt plug out there too,
Okay.
in case we got to put a light out there or something.
Yes, sir. We can do that.
Okay. Any other questions or any items for Miss Sarah? Is the park open, Shoals Park?
No, sir.
From
Not,
the
not with all
flood?
the rain that we've had recently.
I
It
didn't
has
know if
been
it
closed.
opened back up. I know.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We're working to try to get it reopened, but we've got some trails that need to drain off before we can reopen that right now.
Okay. Anything else from Miss Sarah? I have one thing I want to talk, the COH Center. Maybe the freezer is making an awful noise.
The freezer
The
is?
evaporator.
Okay.
So if you could get the contractor to look at that, and also the can opener on the table, you can't open a can with it.
Okay.
So what I
Is
would
it
do
not
is
working, or is it the
I would
location
have
is
the
wrong?
contractor open a can with this, what he installed there,
Okay.
and then maybe he'll fix it.
Okay. I don't think that was on our punch list, but I'll make sure that it's.
Well, it's
here.
on mine.
Okay. Yes, sir.
But the refrigerator, I think the freezer really needs to be checked into because it's making, it's not normal.
The fan making a
Yeah,
noise.
I'm scared it might be something burning up or something.
Yes, sir. Okay.
It's
I'll
not
check with them.
smelling. I went in there like it froze to death. But I had
Yeah.
to find out where the noise was coming from, and it's bad.
Yes, sir.
So
Okay. I'll reach out to them.
Definitely need to check it.
Yes, sir. We'll send that as a priority request for them to come look at.
Other than that, beautiful building.
And they're in it.
They're
They've
happy.
moved.
We had our
they've
meeting, COA
relocated.
meeting there last night, and it's a beautiful building. Thank the Lord
Yeah.
that we finally got them out of downtown and out
Yes,
there to that beautiful building.
Yes, sir.
Thank the Lord. And they're happy.
Good.
And there will be I think the
Grand
opening
opening.
day or the ribbon cutting is going to be the 18th
Okay.
of next month. That's what they're trying to set, which is Good Friday. That way, because the center will be closed, and they can get Mr. Bradley and Mr. Brandon here,
Okay.
and if any of the commissioners want to go.
Okay. I'll get with them
it will
tomorrow
be
and
welcome.
confirm.
And they should be
That's it.
invitations going out once
Okay.
they confirm the date,
Okay.
the time and all.
All right. We
Okay.
can do that.
That's all I have. I'm sorry. I went on and on.
You're good.
All right, we're moving to our next item on the agenda, which is expense report over 5,000. You have anything for Sarah? If not, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the American Rescue Plan Phase 1 and 2, Miss Sarah.
No updates since our last meeting, Commissioner. We've had no charges to this account.
All right. We'll move to our next item on the agenda, which is Juvenile Justice Circuit Court Advisory Nomination.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we talked about this at our last meeting and did not have a formal meeting date scheduled. So I did coordinate with Miss Sandy Brandon, who is the Chief Probation Officer for this program. They do meet quarterly in Gainesville. I've provided the address there. They are in person, and she said that they don't have a date specific just yet, but they know that it will be on a Friday at 2 p.m. and again quarterly. So they haven't set a firm schedule yet on, first Friday or second Friday, things like that. But they know it will be on a Friday at 2 p.m. in Gainesville quarterly. So just want to follow up with the board to see if there's any person that may be interested in serving on this board, so that we could get them a nomination and they can get their schedule set and start getting their meetings back underway.
Well, I'm gonna probably recommend that we have a commissioner that does it and an alternate
Okay.
commissioner, because Fridays at 2 p.m. is gonna be difficult for every commissioner on this board.
Yes, sir.
So I would recommend that we have one primary, and then when he can't make it, we have a secondary to back him up.
Okay.
Okay?
Chairman, I don't mind taking that on.
Okay, we have Commissioner Hartley is going to be the primary, and then we have someone who wants to, if it's on a Friday, sometimes I can go, but if it's at the third or the fourth Friday, I'm out of the country. So if they do that, then I'm just out of it. So I
Right.
hate to be the secondary.
Right.
I'd be willing to do doctor.
You could be the alternate, so we have Mr. Mann as the alternate.
All right.
Right, we appreciate it, commissioners. Thank y'all. Okay, we're moving to our item number 5, which is Human Resources full-time position.
Yes, sir. Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. So there are actually 2 job descriptions you should have there. I think they're probably stapled together. So the first one is our Human Resources Director position. Just wanted to give you an idea of all of the things that she has going on with her position as we talk about a new position, the part-time that we currently have, moving that into full-time. So the last page there are some items that Ms. Robin would like to begin implementing if her time was freed up some. Right now, we know that she does a lot of the administrative work of the part-time position simply for sake of time, right? If someone is only here 3 days a week, the work doesn't stop in between those days. So Robin, a lot of her time, is occupied with duties that full-time position could take over. So she did have some spare time in her schedule that she's otherwise occupied now. She'd like to implement some new programs, specifically training. We talk at length about training, and we do already have a lot that we do internally with our department heads and our supervisory staff, but we would like to expand on that and offer some more opportunities for training. That's a big area that she would like to see some focus on, so that's been added. And as well as we've had some communications about if this person was made full-time, what are some of the responsibilities that currently finance is taking care of. Could we bring those back in-house just as a baby step, to that discussion? And some of that's being done right now. Again, this is a bigger picture discussion, but we could talk about all of our FRS reporting requirements, time card processing, and reconciliation of insurance invoices. Those are some that previously were handled under Human Resources several years ago under former county manager, and those were transferred to the finance office. So those are some that we had discussed about the Human Resources Department possibly taking those back over. So of course that would be contingent upon the part-time position being made full-time, so that we would be able to adequately prepare for those. Moving into the second job description, this is what we have on the books currently for the part-time position. Now, I like to say I think we were really advantageous when we wrote this job description and hired a part-time person, because really these duties expand what a part-time person's abilities are, just for the sake of time. So there are a lot of these things, like I said, that may not be handled by the part-time person now, just simply because they're not in the office to be able to do that. So Robin is picking up a lot of that slack. So we really didn't expand upon the base of this job description at all, but we did add some options there at the bottom for consideration, things that we can do in addition to what we're doing now, being able to free up some time, and that's the red there on the second page. And if you want, we can go through those step by step, but we wanted to, like I said, obviously to be able to implement a more robust human resources department. And at this time, like I said, we are doing it with a part-time person and then just Robin full-time. So at the very bottom there, we talked about this at our last county commission meeting. We have about $17,000 in our current budget for the part-time position. So if we were to move this towards a full-time position now that it's vacant or will be vacant, Ms. Kelly is still here for a little bit longer. We've got about another week with her. Now is the time for us to consider moving it into a full-time while we're looking for someone new. So those salary projections that we have there are listed there at the bottom, but that's what we've discussed as previously mentioned here in the commission meeting, somewhere between $14 and $16 an hour. Depending on what insurance enrollment a new employee would take, we could see anywhere from $14,500 to around $20,000 needed in current budget to make this position a full-time. Again, that high cost is if they take family coverage. That's just very expensive for us to be able to take that on. You can see that there that family coverage alone is about $1,400 a month in expenses. So that's a big cost to that. And then annually, as an overall budget increase next year for a full budget, we would be looking at an expenditure somewhere beyond what we're currently budgeting, between $17,000 and $33,000. Again, that is strictly depending on what insurance that person selects. So I know we've talked about this, like I said, over the last several weeks. Certainly, we can move forward with advertisement of a part-time person. And, at budget discussion, if we choose to make this full-time, hope that person would want to move into full-time. That certainly is an option for us. But internally, staff just talked about it, and we thought, well, like I said, if we're filling this position now, and we anticipate needing this to go full-time, is there some consideration for doing it now? Again, we're here to work at the pleasure of the board, and what you guys feel is the right opportunity to do so. But if you have any further questions specific on the job description, I'd be happy to answer it, but that's overall what we're looking for this one.
Any questions or comments? I have a couple.
Yes, sir.
The one with the salary range of 14 to 16, I'm not, the minimum wage is going to go up to 15. We have to be at 15 pretty quick anyway.
Yes, sir.
So there's no need to even start thinking about $14 an hour.
Okay.
The minimum would be $15 an hour.
Okay.
And depending on the experience, I would say 15 to 17 or 15 to 18 with the experience.
Okay.
Whatever the commissioner feels better with, probably 15 to 18. You don't want to close the door. And I don't want to look at a full-time, hiring somebody in here part-time, and then maybe giving them you're not going to get any, you might, if you want either they're going to work part-time or full-time. You're not going to get anybody that's going to come in here and say, okay, I'll work part-time until you get a full-time.
Yes, that was our fear.
It's more encouraging to get a good person when you offer them full-time employment than you offer. We know we're going to we need them.
Yes, sir.
Where you can look at the situation we have now in finance, showing that we're understaffed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. There's a lot of issues, but one of the issues is understaffed.
Mm-hmm.
And I would recommend that we bring somebody in full-time, and then we start helping the clerk and her finance staff, and taking some of that load off of them that we can do here locally to free up the time so we don't have an audit that's late anymore.
Yes, sir.
And this will be part of that process to me.
Yes, sir.
I think that me personally, I think we don't need to go under 14. If we go to, we should stay at 15 because we got to be there anyway. We're going to give them 14, and then in the year we got to give them 15.
Yes, sir.
Just nip that in the bud.
So you're saying a $15 to $18 an hour full-time position, correct?
Full-time position. And I do like the stuff that's been added.
Yes, sir.
I think, and you'll find out going through the process, you might want to make some changes
Yes, sir.
and maybe add a couple or delete a couple once you get going. But
in
this
all
is
of
a
our
good
job
start.
descriptions, it very nicely says other duties
I
as
know.
directed.
Well, we're in a small county, so
Yes,
you
sir.
have other duties like taking out the trash every once in a while, cleaning the toilet.
Been there,
If
done
you
that.
have to.
Yes, sir.
I hate to say it, but that's just the
It's
way
very
small
true.
businesses run.
Yes, sir.
We all do it.
Yes, sir.
But I'm fully in support of moving forward with a full-time position, $15 to $18 an hour with experience, and we'll let
Yes, sir.
whoever does the hiring will decide the experience level.
Yes, sir.
I'm comfortable with that.
I would echo that and second that one for sure. Especially when we talk about the position that we're in and the possibility of helping, clean up finances and get them more current and push for, more accurate reporting and get it done quick.
Right.
So I would definitely push for that myself.
When will we move forward with that?
We can get the advertisement sent over to the newspaper this week. However, it would not be active in the newspaper until next week. We've obviously missed the deadline for this week, but we can get it out on our website and the other advertising services that we use before the end of the week.
Yeah, I'd just say get it out there as quick as we can.
Yes,
So
sir.
we can get as many applications in here.
Yes, sir.
as we
Miss
can.
Kelly's leaving us next week, so
Yeah.
we're desperate to get
Go ahead and
someone
get that
filling it
way.
pretty quickly.
Not
Yes.
that big of a lull.
Yes. Yes. Sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like the part of checking with the insurance, helping employees with that. There
Yes, sir.
always seems to be a problem with
Yeah.
that.
Yes, sir.
And so when they're in here, they're just not enough help, and people would like the information ahead of time where they can make the proper
Right.
decision for their family.
Right.
So
Yes, sir.
I do think that's a good duty to put on the new person.
Yes, sir.
So
Well, I'm gonna I want to entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the new position full-time from $15 to $18 an hour,
Second.
depending on experience.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, we appreciate that.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to item county manager. Do you have anything for us?
Just a reminder about Rural Counties Day on Thursday. We've got a big group heading up for the day. I know we've got a couple of you all that will be there for the reception the night before. You're
I
not
won't be there Thursday.
Okay.
I have to, I'm gonna go in the morning. I got a meeting in the morning. I'll be there all day tomorrow. I'll do
Okay.
the reception tomorrow night. I have to drive back
Okay.
because I'm flying out 3 in the morning Thursday. So I will not be there. I knew there'd be enough people there.
Yes, we've got a very big group. We've got a lot of giveaways this year. We'll be well represented. I know we've got Commissioner Mann will be there
Yeah.
on Thursday. Commissioner Hartley's going to be there on Thursday. We've got a big group of staff that's going to be there. And then, of course, we've got a tent in partnership with the city and the Chamber of Commerce. So Baker
It'd
County will
good-
be well
yeah,
represented
Well
for sure.
represented, and it's a great thing for Baker County.
Yes, and we've got a few first timers, and I've asked Mr. Chris Doolin if we could get them on a quick tour of the Capitol. They've never
Yeah,
been there
yeah.
before, and so he's going to make sure he does that for some of our staff that've not had the opportunity to go over, kind of
And
show
I
them
wa-
around.
and I has tried to set up meetings with JLAC, but that's not working out.
I don't think so either,
So-
no, sir. We've asked Mr. Doolin about that as well, and I don't think we're
They're,
doing that, yeah.
they're all in legislative session,
sir.
and it's wide open over there.
We might be
now.
able to pop in and at least say hey to staff.
Yeah,
But
I'm
as
gonna do
far-
that tomorrow. I'm gonna do some of that tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, that may be
But-
better timing. Yeah,
Cause they won't be as busy tomorrow, so
Yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna try to bounce around.
yes, sir. Just a reminder about that. That is all.
Okay. And I won't be here opening day neither.
Okay.
They said it 29th, and I'll be coming back the 29th.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll have a good crew there for that one too.
Rich, you have anything?
He's awful quiet today.
He has been quiet today. I like it this way. Even looks better that way. I don't know. All right. The county attorney don't have anything. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Mobley, I'll start with you tonight.
The only thing I had is just make sure we get that email sent over
Yes, sir.
and everything. Let's try
Will
to
do.
we'll get that sent as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And then if we follow up with dates
Yes,
as far
sir.
as when JLAC's meeting.
Certainly. I did ask Ms. White to keep us informed of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Rich is texting me also. He says he doesn't have anything. So he's listening. He can't make,
I
make
wouldn't
too
even
much
let him
fun
talk
of him.
now anyway. He would skip our meetings for St. Johns County. I can't believe it. Give
But-
up Baker
but yes, sir,
County
I
for
certainly
St. Johns County.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mobley, and I appreciate you looking out for that for me.
Yes, sir.
Means a lot. Commissioner Mann?
We have received a quote on the special assessments survey. I don't like the price, but I do think we need to move forward with that. When we have an opportunity, everybody has a chance to review it and think about what we need to do. I'm glad we got the quote. I'm not satisfied with the price.
Yeah. Miss Sarah, get that on our agenda for next
Certainly.
meeting, please. So we can go ahead and have discussion on which way, what we want to do moving forward.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Okay? Is that good with you, Mr. Mann?
That's good.
Thank you. Commissioner Hartley?
The only thing I'd have is Sanderson Community Center. Can you keep us updated on what you find out?
Yes, sir. Certainly.
I just think that needs to move and get repaired
Yes, sir.
as quick as possible.
If we're not addressing the bathroom, that's the holdup, is finding a structural engineer that you can coordinate with
And the
to do
bathroom
that.
has to be fixed.
It's got to be fixed, but windows and doors also need to be
Right.
addressed. And so, in the lull of trying to find someone that could draw us up some construction plans, we can move forward with some of the other low-level things that don't require that. But yes, sir, I agree. If you go in there, usually the floor is covered in leaves because the door is just open and everything from the outside comes in. So it definitely needs to be addressed.
That's all I have.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I don't have anything.
Okay.
Take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.